Hey everyone, I'm Dark Quarter and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo. So last time we saw the result of the fight between Lilly and Shizune, and then we went and helped Lilly with her class's festival project, and Hanako came with us too. And actually we saw Kenji there in the classroom, which was kind of weird, but looks like he was trying to infiltrate the feminist conspiracy thing, whatever. So now we are out after. So now Lilly, I, and Hanako are out after the project, and I suspect going to dinner. So let's see what happens. The nighttime lighting really makes the garden look quite different compared to the usual look of lush greenery. Things are much more calm. Being that it's so late, the lack of students around probably helps. The odd one or two can be seen scurrying to and from the dorms, trying to eke the most out of their approaching curfews, but no more. All that can be heard is our footsteps, in addition to Lily's cane regularly gently tapping the ground in front of her. It's nice to finally be able to relax a bit after the mad rush during school. Without even noticing it, I let out a small yawn. Tired? Yeah, still getting used to the flow of things, I guess. The thing with Shizune took me kind of off guard, though. I grit my teeth a little at the candid mention of their rather public spat. That said, I do want to sort out what in the world was behind it. About that. I'm sorry about it being so public. Shizune and I go back some ways. Her voice seems slightly irritated as she remembers Shizune, obviously unwilling to discuss it any further. I glanced to Hanako for her views on this, but her expression is unsurprisingly evasive and difficult to read. Either way, I guess her apologizing for it is something, even if my curiosity goes unanswered. I'll be glad once the festival is over, in any case. The change of topic's welcome, clearing the thickening air quickly. Oh, I can imagine. My old school's festivals were a lot more low-key than this. Yamaku stresses the idea of a school community, so the staff likes to make our festivals and such special occasions. And yet the students are the ones who do the work. What an unfair world. Hanako and Lilly both chuckle in agreement, savoring the fact that none of the staff are around to hear our grumbling. I suppose coming from a strict all-girls school helps me a bit with Yamaku. Compared to that, Yamaku is much more relaxed. That'd go away towards explaining her well-bred speech and behavior in any case. As we come out to the dormitories, it eventually comes time to leave for our respective rooms. See you, Lilly, Hanako. The two both give polite nods before setting off to the women's dorms, just next to the guys. As is to be expected of such an arrangement, there's a staff member casually patrolling around outside to prevent any nighttime shenanigans. Oh, what kind of shenanigans do you think there could be? Walking past him, I quickly stretch my arms and rub my neck, both quite sore after having worked on the floors for so long, before walking to my room. It feels good to actually have direction, though. After so long in the hospital, the everyday facts of studying, homework, and teachers seems almost a blessing. I guess if things continue like this, my time at Yamaku might turn out okay. Adhering to the nurse's nagging voice in the back of my head, I set my alarm clock to wake me early enough to go jogging again. I made a promise that I'm going to keep it. Besides, Emmy is bound to rat on me if I don't show up. But it's not all that bad. Katawa Shoujo. Brought to you by Craft. My morning alarm goes off, and I flail about uselessly for a while until I remember that I decided to give morning runs another shot. So I've got the flail attack, huh? What about splash? I don't know if this was my greatest idea, but I'm determined to keep going. This is about my health, after all. Sure, things haven't been great lately for me, but that hasn't made existence so intolerable that I'm not going to try everything I can to stay healthy. Besides, it's all about asserting some kind of control over this thing, right? If I can manage that, well, I can manage anything. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Once again, it would appear that I'm not alone in my run. Emmy has apparently been here for some time. I wonder if she can jump over those hurdles. It looks like she's already worked up a good sweat. So when the hell does she come down here anyway? Oh, it's you. I'm surprised to see you again. Why's that? Well, not many people actually manage to come back for a second try. She frowns, seemingly annoyed by a passing thought. And she does look annoyed. Like the rest of the track team, for instance. Still, it was only supposed to be on a volunteer basis, so it's not that big of a shock. And I guess it's pretty early in the morning. I shrug, and suddenly it appears that she's forgotten what she was talking about. Her frown disappears entirely, and she seems to snap back to her previous train of thought. So, come on then. What? You're here to run again, right? Well, yes. So, come on. I find myself suddenly grabbed and yanked onto the track. Things seem to be set on mirroring yesterday's run. That is, I seem to be struggling while Emmy moves with an effortlessness that I find enviable. It's incredibly bothersome to be so easily worn out. I know I should be patient, work towards things gradually, but it's difficult to stay positive about this. We round the track and start on the second lap. Emmy seems to have grown impatient, keeping pace with me, and begins to pull away. This is where I gave out yesterday. Will I be able to do more? I don't know. I mean, I shouldn't overdo it because of the heart thing, but then again, I should try to improve. So, I don't know. I think I'm gonna go for it. And hopefully I don't die. What am I doing here? Am I really just going to fold and let Emmy pull ahead? I speed up. The second lap's done quickly, and without even considering it, I keep going. Emmy looks back over her shoulder at me and grins. Still going? Wouldn't want you to think I'm out of shape. Emmy laughs without breaking her stride, no less, and speeds up even more. Well, this is the way we're gonna play things. I increase my own pace as well. I can feel my lungs burning and my legs are starting to question just what the hell I think I'm doing. Lactic acid streams on my muscles, but I close my ears. I can't let myself fall behind because that would be a loss. The rational voice in my head inquires mildly just when we started playing a game. I'd answer it, but I'm having a lot of trouble thinking at present. She's so fast. Hell, it's like a string pulling at my chest, a choking feeling of narrowness and pain. Before I can think of anything else, then oh shit, the track disappears from under my feet. Maybe that was a bad choice. I stumble, one hand shooting down the clutch of my chest, the other hitting the track to keep me from falling on my face. Emmy whirls around and her eyes widen. Hisao! She yells at me, sprinting from the other side of the track. What's wrong? Nothing, just keep your breathing steady. Calm down, don't panic. Don't panic. Do you need me to get the nurse? I close my eyes, shutting out the outside world. My heart struggles to regain its rhythm. Slowly, the pain in my chest begins to subside. Soon, it's gone like nothing happened. It was nothing? No, something happened there. And maybe I shouldn't have done that. I open my eyes again and glance at a very worried Emmy. I think I'm fine. My voice sounds weird into myself, oddly even and matter-of-fact. It makes Emmy frown. I don't think you are. She seems to come to a decision and nods to herself. Right, you're coming with me. You've got to see the nurse. Come with me if you want to live. Emmy grabs my arm and drags me up. I feel a bit wobbly, but I refuse the shoulder Emmy offers for support. Honestly, I'm a little ashamed at my own weakness. I'd really rather not have Emmy concerned about me, but it seems to be too late. Like I'd really rather not have anyone concerned about my condition, though at this point it seems to be too late for that as well. I'd like to be able to deal with the whole thing on my own, without being a bother to anyone else. While I'm wishing for things, I'd rather not have the condition in the first place. Nurse! Emmy crashes into his office without knocking, but it doesn't alarm the nurse in the least. Good morning, sunshine. What's up? sunshine. Anyway, he calmly sips from his coffee mug, but lays it down after following Emmy's gaze to me, looming in the doorway. Hisao, what brings you here? We were running and he stumbled over and started grabbing at his chest and easy there, Emmy. Calm down. Hisao, what happened? I don't know, we were running and then my chest started hurting like that time before, but it went away after a few seconds. It was just a flutter or something. The nurse frowns as if to say that just a flutter is some kind of oxymoron. I didn't mean quite this when I suggested you get some exercise. You've got to be more careful, Hisao. I was being careful, I just... To think of it, I just got into a race with a member of the track team. Doesn't seem as well reasoned as I thought it would. You just... what? That is... I was racing Emmy. Emmy, is this true? Emmy fidgets, looking adorably contrite. Well... Finally, she can't seem to bring herself to say it aloud and merely nods. The nurse sighs and rubs at his forehead with one hand tiredly. Emmy, you've got to be more sensitive to the limit of others. I don't know if he told you, but Hisao has a bad heart, and getting him to race you was incredibly irresponsible. Actually, I started it. The nurse is stunned by my statement. You, what? We were just running, and Emmy started to pull away, so I sped up to catch her. The nurse stares at the ceiling, mutters a prayer for patience to some god or another, and looks back down at the both of us. So you're both stupid. That's a comfort, I guess. Now come on, Hisao. I've got to make sure your heart's not going to explode or something. I dutifully obey and follow into the adjacent room where we ascertain that I am, in fact, not going to keel over and die. Well, that's a good thing. So, how does it feel? I don't know. Nothing much. Tired, but I might be just from the exercise. You just stay here for a few hours and rest, and we'll see how you feel after that. I'm not going to object, so I lie down in the infirmary bed. A thoroughly miserable Emmy comes in after getting an earful from the nurse in the other room. I couldn't hear what he said through the closed door, but I'm sure it wasn't pleasantries. Look, I'm really sorry. I should have been more careful. Oh, you didn't know. It's not your fault. She looks awfully down and sorry, and my reassurances don't do anything much to cheer her up. I want to make it up to you. Again with that decisive nod. So you have to come to lunch with me. I bring it for you, okay? Something really good. I start with a you don't have to, but then shut up and just nod at her when I see her face. Good. We meet on the roof. Why? Yep, the weather's nice now, so the roof's a great spot for lunch, you know. I see. You'll come, right? You wouldn't deny me the chance to make it up to you. Of course not. Great, see you there. I stay afloat somewhere between asleep and awake, feeling completely drained. Not only my body, but all of me is limp and paralyzed, apart from my senses. I swallow with difficulty and then try to lie as still as I can, which in this state is not a very hard thing to do. The nurse is shuffling around on the other side of the curtains he drew to give me privacy. I can see his shadow shifting about in the sunlight. He has opened the window in his office. It's windy outside. The clean white curtains flutter in the breeze in a heavy, lazy motion, like waves. Light sifts through them slowly, half absorbing into the fabric. I close my eyes. The breeze on my face feels like the soft fabric of the curtains. I listen to the sound of my heartbeat for a moment, trying to shut out the sound of the nurse tapping away on his computer, and my own heavy breathing. It's steady. Damn it, not even a week and I end up like this again. I really screwed up this time. Should have known better than to play the half-baked sports star in front of a real one. And why did I try to act brave, like that heart flutter was no big deal, even when it was obvious that it was? It was just a reflex to push it away, to keep it inside. I didn't want it to happen. I didn't want Emmy to see it. Stupid. I have to be more careful or I will end up in the hospital again, or worse. That's my final thought before I give in to the tiredness. I fell asleep. For how long? What time is it? I'm feeling a little lightheaded and I keep blinking compulsively. Pushing the curtain aside, I squint my eyes against the unfiltered light pouring in from the window. The texture of the canvas feels nothing like the wind did before. The nurse looks up from his work, sitting exactly where he was before. How are you feeling? I can't really tell, so I don't answer anything. I'm feeling kind of groggy from falling asleep at such a weird time. Hopefully I don't look too weird. What time is it? Me croaking the question to gain some orientation. The nurse looking at his wristwatch before answering. Things seem to happen in slow motion. 10:15. I try to think for a moment what that means, but I'm not really sure. You didn't answer my question, Hisao. Oh, fine. Climb down from that bed then, and let's see how you're doing. Don't. I try to do exactly that, only to sway dizzily when I move too fast. The nurse moves to support me by an arm and sighs. Stand up too quickly is what I was going to say. Just sit there. I'll check your pressure to make sure. My good intentions sure lasted a long time. I shut up, embarrassed with myself, while the nurse gets busy with an old-fashioned contraption at my arm. After a couple of minutes, he puts it away, looking neither pleased nor unhappy. You're all right. Head stopped spinning. Yeah. Good. And how are the contents doing? You didn't show very good judgment out there, Hisao. I swallowed the retort I was going to make. It's what I was thinking myself, but hearing it said by somebody else makes me want to protest. What he's saying is not pleasant to hear. Doesn't make him any less right. No, sir. He nods, still looking as neutral as he was before. It would be easy to be angry at him if he said, told you so, or something, but he doesn't. I've been trying to help you to keep your health, but ultimately the last call lies with you. Hopefully this little episode will be something that'll remind you of that. Here, a note for your teacher, to avoid an interrogation. I take the slip of paper he's offering and then make my leave, as I can't think of anything else to say, nor even really want to. Stay out of trouble, you hear me? I don't think it was anything but a scare, but next time could be different. I hear you. There's some way to get to the school building straight from the auxiliary building, but I'm not keen to find out and possibly get lost, so I go out from the exit that I know works. I stop at the stairs of the auxiliary building, deliberating for a moment between going to the dorms to get my books and stuff, or going straight away to class. Sun stings my eyes, so I head towards the dorms. The halls are quiet as the courtyard was, naturally so since everyone is in class. I knock lightly at the door of 3-3 and push open the door when Mutu calls from the other side. Sorry I'm late. 15 pairs of eyes turn to me. Good morning, Nakai. Mutu seems to be somewhat confounded by my coming in late, as if I interrupted his flow or something. Judging from the rambling lectures his classes tend to be, that might be the case. I pass him the note the nurse gave me. Mutu takes it with a nod and reads it quickly. He lifts his eyebrows and gives me a kind of stern look but doesn't say anything, just nods solemnly at me again. I shrug and he gestures at me to run along, so I naturally do. The class goes on lazily. I think I'm starting to get into the rhythm of the school. I've even stopped worrying about taking notes and being overly attentive. The first days I was pretty high-strung in class. Mutu finishes his lecture about electricity early, but continues without a pause about the festival. So, as you know, the festival is on the day after tomorrow. I hope everyone's projects are going to be successful this year. Have a good time, but also come Sunday. Please keep the meaning of this festival in your minds. Games and fried food! Everyone bursts out in laughter, and so do I. Yes, thank you, Mikado. Oh, the remainder of a sentence is buried beneath the ring of the lunch bells, and everyone starts packing their things. Mutu deliberates for moments, but since nobody seems to pay attention anymore, he gives up and sits down. It's crowded in the hallway, or as crowded as hallways in the school probably get. Most of the students seem to be heading down for the cafeteria. Normally I'd join the flow and grab a lunch myself, but today is different. Today I've been invited to lunch on the roof. An odd location, but that's where I was told to go. Fortunately, I managed to find shelter from the storm in the lee of the classroom door. Eventually the torrent subsides and I step tentatively out into the hallway, only to be met by Emmy, who comes flouncing down the hallway like a cannonball. Hey, hi Hisao, great timing. I have super extra lunch today, as promised. Let's go upstairs. The stairway to the roof is a little dilapidated, but it's clearly been used recently. At the top of the stairs to a door, complete with a missing padlock. I wonder who the intrepid individual was that removed the lock. She looks different in her school uniform. Amy shoves the door open and steps beaming into the sunlight. Suddenly, a tall, dark stranger appears out of nowhere, standing imposingly in front of us. Amy flinches back, almost falling back down the stairs. Eek! Hello. I know who that is. Yipes! You scared me, Lilly. Wait, isn't she... Hello. Noticing that Bryn is speaking to me, Amy looks curiously at me. You two know each other? I look confusedly at Amy. So is that a friend of yours? Bryn has turned her gaze towards the cloud drifting above the school. I didn't know you know this person, Amy. The awkward silence lasts only for a few seconds until Amy lets out a tiny giggle, shrugging the coincidence off. I invited Hisao for lunch. If you know him, that's just better. Oh, does this mean I don't get food? Or did you invite him for lunch without the lunch? Neither. I have food for 3. I was thinking... They walk to the other end of the roof while I stay at the clock tower for a while, taking in the atmosphere. There's nobody else but us here. I guess the roof is not as popular as it is in other schools. A few rundown benches and tables are scattered around the edges, perhaps in an attempt to make the rooftop look less desolate. The small pebbles covering the roof rattle beneath our feet. I peek through the chain-link fence to take a look at the school grounds and beyond. Students are strolling in pairs and groups around the quadrangle and at the cafeteria. A few delivery trucks are driving past the school towards the convenience store nearby. Somewhere, a watchdog barks at a passerby. Somehow, when I look towards the town center, the small town feel strikes me very strongly, almost palpably. The hectic lifestyle of big metropolises seems so far away and foreign here. Nobody has to run to catch a bus like their life depended on it, or get their senses overloaded by the neon lights and traffic jams. I feel surprisingly optimistic about this new life of mine, looking at my new hometown, even if it's going to be mine for only one short year. Finding out about my illness and having to move away from home all came so suddenly, I haven't had time to think about how I feel about it. When I step out of the shadow of the clock tower to the open, I feel warmth touching my back. The sun shines from a perfectly clear cerulean sky. A cool breeze sweeping over the rooftop makes me shiver, but only briefly. The wind carries the scent of trees and flowers, not smog and car exhaust like it used to just a few weeks ago. Amy settles on a bench with Bryn in tow and produces 1 big and 2 small lunchboxes from her bag. Well, I think this might be a good time to stop. So, thank you guys for watching. Keep being cool, and I'll see you next time.